Hello everybody and welcome. The last video I gave you how to play the line of introduction for a tune by Orlando Valle Maraca called Presentación, and today I would like to give you my opinion or my way of improvising over the progression, which is a minor blues basically. So stay tuned. First of all, I want to thank the subscribers. So in the future I'll be making more videos of this and more videos of performances and in the general education, in music. So let's get to this. When you're gonna improvise over a minor blues Latino, it's a little different. It's not like American blues is one thing, but in this kind of blues it's more like a jazz fusion. It's like a fusion. You basically are showing, and the name of the tune is telling you, presentación, so it's presenting the musicians. So you want to play with energy, you want to play as fast as you can, with good notes. If you cannot play that fast, well, first of all, you couldn't play the intro, but secondly, it's going to be a little boring because if you don't have technique, then you have to work on technique first, and then if you want, you can also play there's different tricks to make it sound faster. One is the triplets, the subdivision before the. So you go like. And usually you don't play the first note of the triplet. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like those kinds of rhythms, and also playing the upbeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you play the upbeats, it also makes it move a little, I don't know, it sounds like it's faster. And you're just playing basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one way. And I would like to divide the first part of this in 3 different basic ways of improvising. One is when you think of everything and every note is thought and very academic way, so you think, okay, I'm gonna do Dorian for the first. The other extreme is to just go singing, like you go, you kind of sing with an instrument. Without thinking what you're playing. And the third way is somewhere in between there, somewhere in the middle of both of those, where you are thinking about what you're playing, and that's the best because you're thinking, okay, let me start with Dorian, but you also at a certain point you stop thinking about scales and stuff and just let it sing. Both extremes have pros and cons. If you think about everything you're doing and you which it's not bad if you can, but sometimes with some people it might sound a little academic and a little tense, you know. The pros of playing academically and thinking all the time is that you're not going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to play everything the way, you know, with the right notes. So it's good for studio. It's good for when you're sight reading stuff, when you're playing for the first time with this band or something. Okay, the other second way, which is completely without thinking, has pros. You know, it has energy, it's exciting, but you might have a few mistakes here and there. You might have to force some notes to fit, and you know, you have to be adjusting. So the third one, which is the one I like, is in the middle. It's like you're thinking about what you're doing, but you're also letting the body, you know, your brain play. If you're playing a tune that you don't know, then you go academic, because that's the best way you're gonna sound good. So there's only a certain amount of things that you can really do if you analyze it. You know, it's not. You can either stay on the same note, repeat the same note, or repeat, you know, a sequence of notes. You can play scales, right? Arpeggios. You can also do like the melody, you know, or start with the melodic. You know, you can do melodic. You can also use chromatism. Be careful with those, because there might be a few wrong notes there, so you gotta you know, sing through those. And you can also do effects like, or you know, whatever. You can improvise anything, you know. But the taste is important. So what I find on the bass is that usually the faster you go, the higher you should go, because when you play down here, unless you want that effect, if you want that earthquake effect, but generally if you're gonna play fast, and also use the closer to the bridge. You know, I've noticed that all great soloists have something in common. They do parts for the solo: the entrance, the content, a climax, and an ending. And when you go through those, don't go back to this content. Don't go back. Just do it like that. Finish. When you finish, you finish. Okay. To tell you all the scales that you can use, I don't think it's going to be useful, because this video is not about that. It's about the attitude. You can check out other videos that explain how to do, you know, which scales you're going to use. I mean, basically you can use the chromatic scale. You know, that's the best way to think about music. Just think chromatic. Any note you can use. Because let me demonstrate a little bit. Okay, the outside notes, wrong notes that sound good at a certain moment. So on the first chord, you could play the major against the minor chord, but you have to know that that's going to sound really dissonant. That's going to sound really weird. So when you want to go weird, which is part of what I'm going to get to it later, is the mystery of the Latin music. I'm not talking about mystery of you don't know what it is. I'm talking about the mysterious sound of the solos. Then you got to use those notes. You can use like Michael Brecker. On the blues, or a way to sound outside is using C. So you use the minor third, the major third in minor, and then you go to the major seventh. But somehow you have to use the right note somewhere in there so that land on the right note. Be careful. Be careful with this. I'm not responsible if they fire you from your gig. But I'm gonna try to do a very weird solo. This is would be like the usually you go from consonant to less consonant to dissonant to very crazy if you're gonna do 4 choruses. So let me see if I can do. Okay, some of those may sound better than others, so that's what you practice. But what I did is I tried to use, when you go with a pattern, half step up, half step down, you start to go into the Michael Brecker world, which is completely free. But if you notice, at the end I kind of came back to the consonants and finished in a C, which is the most basic